So we had seen any program written in Java, okay, that we call as the Java code, always has got a .java extension. Fine. So first, that source code will be compiled by the Java C compiler. Fine. So Java uses Java C compiler to compile the source codes written with .java extension. Now, once you compile, a bytecode is generated. So what is this bytecode? So I remember someone asking me yesterday what bytecode is. Now you see, just think about C programming, C programs, okay? Whenever you write C programs, that is a high level language, okay? So every high level languages needs to be compiled to machine level language so that they can be executed on the machine. Yes, so that is why we use compilers. Yes, so the C compiler will compile the source code written in C to object code. So the object code is nothing but a machine code, okay, or a low level code. Fine, and that code can be now easily executed in the machine. Okay, now talking about Java programming, once the source code is compiled, a bytecode is generated. I told you that bytecode is not fully a machine code. Bytecode is partially a machine code. That means it is neither a high level language, okay? It is neither the source code that was written in high level language because it has already been compiled. Fine. Also, it is not exactly the machine code that the machine can understand. Okay, it is between high level and low level. That means it acts as an assembly language. It is merely, similar to an assembly language code. So what was the use of assembly language code? Assembly language codes are written using symbols, yes, mnemonics or symbolic notations. So bytecode is also, you know um bytecodes are also symbolic representations of the source code. Okay, the source code that you have compiled using Java C compiler. Okay, some symbolic notations will now that source code will be converted to some symbolic notations or some mnemonics, almost like the assembly language code. Fine. So this code is neither the high level language code that you wrote using Java, nor it is the machine code. Okay, it is somewhere between high level and low level. Fine. Now this bytecode, okay, it consists of some symbols. Okay, however, machines do not understand symbols. So it is again important that this partially compiled or optimized file or code, which has got a dot class extension, okay, it has got a dot class extension, please remember. So this partially compiled file now needs to be interpreted so that it can be executed. Okay, just as in C applications we perform only compilation. So once compiled, the source code automatically gets converted to machine code. But here, once compiled, the source code is partially converted to machine code. It is not a machine code actually. It is merely, it is almost similar to the machine code, but not exactly the machine code. So this now needs to be translated to machine code. Fine. Who will do this? So now this bytecode will be taken care by the JVM, which is the Java Virtual Machine. Now, as I said in the previous class, I don't know if you remember, I said in case of C, C++, whenever you design applications using C, C++, those applications are executed using the operating system's environment. Okay, they are executed in the operating system's environment only. So the operating system will directly make a call to the main function. Accordingly, the program executes. Okay, here what happens is, on top of the operating system, okay, Java needs to have the Java virtual machine. Okay, Java has its own environment and Java can run only in its own environment. It will not run in the operating system's environment. Okay, Java provides its own environment. Fine, that is what makes Java platform independent. Okay, so irrespective of any platform that you use, be it Windows, Linux, Mac, any operating system, it it will run on any environment provided, on any platform provided that particular platform is loaded with the Java virtual machine. Okay, so this JVM actually provides an environment where the bytecode that you obtained after compilation can be interpreted first and then be executed. So there are two things that is done by JVM. The partially compiled file first needs to be interpreted. Only once it is interpreted and completely translated to machine code, now it is ready for execution, and then it can execute. Okay, it can execute in the environment provided by JVM. Fine, so that is the purpose of JVM. Okay, now talking about JVM and bytecode is platform independent. Okay, bytecode is platform independent. Bytecode can be run on any operating system provided that operating system is loaded with JVM. Fine. So this is why bytecode is platform independent, and this is what makes Java platform independent. Now talking about JVM, JVM is not platform independent. JVM is platform dependent. So depending on whichever operating system you are using JVM, they will have different configurations. Okay, the JVM file is the JVM software is very much platform dependent. Depending on which operating system you are using JVM, okay, you are installing JVM, that that much configurations needs to be done in order for the JVM to run properly. Fine. So JVM is always platform dependent, but the bytecode which will run or execute on the JVM is platform independent. Fine. Now that is actually the responsibility of Java virtual machine. So, to summarize, I would simply say that JVM provides only the runtime environment in which Java bytecode can be executed. Okay, it is that environment where the Java bytecode can be executed after it has been interpreted. Okay, the interpretation is also done by the JVM. So some of the tasks that JVM performs is loading of the bytecode. Okay, it loads the bytecode, it verifies the bytecode. Okay, checks for errors if any. It will execute the code once it is interpreted, and it provides the runtime environment. Okay, and as I said, JVM is platform dependent, which means that for each software and hardware we have different JVM configurations. Always remember that JVM is platform dependent, bytecode is platform independent, and because bytecode is platform independent, you can write your Java applications on any machine. Okay, compile it, get your bytecode generated, and that bytecode can be run on any other machine because it is platform independent. Fine. So that is the concept of JVM. Is it clear? Is JVM clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now talking about now we talk about the next. If you see here, this is how actually these three components are connected. Okay. First we have the JVM. Okay. Now we will talk about the Java runtime environment, which is the JRE. Okay, so the JRE comes with JVM and library classes and some other files. Now as you know that you have done C programming, so you are familiar with programming. You have seen how you use library functions in your program. Yes, so library functions are some predefined functions or built-in functions which are present in the C library. The only thing that you have to do is you have to simply make use of those predefined functions in your program, such as printf, scanf, clearstring, getch. There are many. Yes, there are many such library functions that you can readily, that are readily available to the user to be used in their program. But to be able to use that library functions in your program, you have to include the respective header files. Yes, you have to include the respective header files in your program. Otherwise, the C compiler will not understand the library functions. Okay, so that is why we always mention the header files at the beginning of the program, so that the C compiler understands the, you know, understands that some predefined functions have been used in your program and how those functions needs to be compiled. Fine. So likewise, even in Java, there are many predefined functions, or you can say there are many predefined classes. Okay, more specifically, as I said, Java is object oriented. Java stores classes. Okay, Java library has got many predefined classes. Okay, many predefined classes and interfaces. Fine. So all these classes, okay, needs to be, so whenever you see, as I said, JVM only provides the environment on which your Java application will execute. Fine. It simply provides an environment. Now, to be actually able to run your Java program, because your Java program also will consist of many such library, classes or functions. Okay. Such as, again, just as you see here also we have functions for print, for for reading, for writing. Okay, that is for output. Okay, we have many input output functions even in Java which are predefined, and all these functions belongs to classes or packages, okay, which belongs to library, okay, the Java library. So that is why, to be for a particular application to run, it is important that those library files are also included with your Java program, with your Java source code, just as in C program, just as you use library functions along with the header files in your source code. Here also, for a particular Java application, okay, a Java application will also make use of some library classes and functions. Okay, so all those library functions and classes needs to be included in your source code, so that that particular application can finally run and execute. Otherwise the compiler will not understand anything. Fine. That is why, the JVM along with the library classes together makes up the Java runtime environment. So JRE is actually a collection of, it is a conjunction of the JVM, which will provide the runtime, and library functions. Okay, so these together will provide the environment, and it will help in execution of the Java program that has been written by the user. Fine, that is the function of JRE. Is that okay? Now, so if I am to summarize the function of JRE, okay, so JRE is a combination of JVM plus some set of libraries. Fine, which together will help in the program execution. Okay, JVM provides runtime environment. JRE, okay, JRE with the help of JVM and some set of libraries will execute the code in the runtime environment provided by JVM. Fine. So you can simply think JRE to be an implementation of JVM. Okay, we use JVM, but who implements JVM? It is JRE. Okay, it is JRE which will implement JVM. Fine. So to run any Java code, JRE is minimum requirement. Okay, the JRE is the minimum requirement for you all to run a Java code. So if you want to execute a Java application, the minimum requirement is not JVM. It will simply provide the environment. Okay, and it will simply help in interpretation. But in program execution, the main role is played by JRE. So the minimum requirement to run any Java program or Java code is the JRE. You should have JRE to be able to execute a Java application. Fine. So JRE contains the set of libraries that JVM will use at runtime. Okay. Also that since JVM is machine dependent, it is platform dependent. As I said, JVM is platform dependent. That is why JRE is also platform dependent. Okay, because of platform dependency of JVM, Java runtime, and that is JRE, is also platform dependent. Fine. So JVM, JRE, these are all platform dependent. And talking about existence, okay, JVM is virtual in nature. That is, it is an idea. It is abstract. It does not exist physically. Okay, so this does not exist physically. It has got no physical existence. On the contrary, JRE physically exists. Okay, JRE physically exists. JVM exists just inside JRE, which is, you know, it is a concept. Okay, which has got only logical existence. Okay, so regarding existence, JRE has got physical existence, JVM has got, because of the name JVM itself, okay, virtual machine, so it has got logical existence, it has got no physical existence. Okay, so are you clear with JRE and JVM till here? Any doubt? Any doubt, anyone till here?
No,
No doubt,
ma'am.
ma'am.
ঠিক আছে,
No,
is it
ma'am.
clear? Next class কিন্তু যদি সোধা নহয় মেম JVM তো কি আছিল, মেম JRE তো কিয় লাগিছিল, এইবিলাক যদি সোধা বা মেম বাইট কোড তো কিয় লাগিছিল, I am not going to, you know, entertain you. I am not going to respond. Is it clear? Any doubt with the current class? Clear out your doubts here
No.
itself. Okay, so we have discussed about JVM, we have discussed about what bytecode is. Okay, this was one of the queries from the previous class which I told that I'll answer it later. Okay, so you have byte, are you clear with bytecode? Okay, so byte, we have discussed bytecode, we have discussed JVM, and we have discussed JRE. Okay, so what we have till now, what we have learned is, to be able to execute a Java application in our machines, the minimum requirement is JRE. Okay, and what is JRE? JRE always consists of the JVM and some set of libraries. Okay, JVM is that particular software which will, you know, help us. It is, you know, it is logical in nature. It will help, it helps provide a runtime environment on which the Java program or application can execute. But JVM single-handedly cannot execute a particular Java program. Okay, it needs the help of some library classes. Okay, so JVM in conjunction with library classes together will work towards executing a Java program. Fine, that is why JRE is the minimum requirement. Okay, next we talk about JDK. I told you to install JDK, not JRE. Yes or no? Have I asked you to install JRE? No, I have asked you to install JDK. Why? What is JDK? JDK is JRE plus development tool. So JDK consists of JRE that we have understood by now. Also some development tools. Development tools like, only writing a Java program and executing is not enough. What if there are some errors detected in your Java application? Who will do the compilation? JVM will only do the interpretation. JVM only does interpretation. JVM takes in the bytecode, interpret it, and execute it in collaboration with library classes. Okay. Now, who will do the compilation part? Here, initially the source code needs to be compiled to the bytecode. Now, who will do this part? Who will check for errors? Who will do debugging? Okay, so there must be some, you know, there are some tools, development tools, which provides, you know, facilities of debugging our application, compiling our application. Okay, or we also have Javadoc, which is used to generate API documentation in HTML for the source code, that we don't need now. Okay, so basically what I want to say is, to be able to execute your entire Java application, okay, you need JRE, fine. But what about the compiler? Java compiler belongs to the development tools, the debugger, the executor. So all of these actually belongs to the development tools. So alone JRE again cannot do the compilation, debugging or execution. Okay, it needs the help of some development tools. Fine. So JRE is actually the entire package, you can say, inside which all our necessary requirements exist. Okay, all the necessary requirements for writing the Java program, compiling, interpreting, executing, okay, in conjunction with library classes. So everything actually resides inside the Java Development Kit. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. Okay, so JDK is nothing but it is JRE plus development tools, and these development tools helps in developing our Java application. It will help in debugging. Okay, you have written a code, you first need to test it, you need to launch it. Okay, so you have to test it. Once it is right, you need to compile it, and then you have to execute it. So all these belongs to the the development tool. Fine. So to summarize, I would simply say that JDK is nothing but a combination of JRE plus the development tools. Fine. It is a full featured software development kit. Okay. It contains JRE plus development tools. Okay. We have discussed about JRE. JRE is a combination of JVM plus library classes. Okay. So this is JRE, and the development tools which comes with debugger, compilers and Java doc. Okay, so we have many executable files inside JDK, okay, which belongs to development tools. Like we have the Java C, which is a Java C compiler. We have Java Beans. Okay, we have Java doc. So these are all executable files which belongs to development tools of JDK. Okay, that is why we don't only install JRE, although it is the minimum requirement. We install JDK. Inside JDK, you will have JRE, one extra folder for JRE. Okay, where all these will reside. Fine. So, are these concepts clear for the time being? JVM, JRE, JDK relations will buji paisa, how they are related to one another and why we need this. I hope you are clear. Okay. Next we discuss. Okay, I asked you library classes are also virtual. What are library functions? Classes, objects, what are these? Pranav has asked, are library classes also virtual? Virtual mane ki hoy? It's a concept. So all these are nothing but these are concepts. You are making use of it in your program.